Hi everyone, welcome to the Mindful Living Podcast. My name is Stephanie Robilio and I'm your host. Here we will have real conversations about what it takes to achieve optimal wellness in mind, body, and spirit. It's one thing to know and it's entirely different to know how. As they say, applied knowledge is power, and on each episode I will teach you how to apply the things you are learning so that you can create the change you seek, heal, recover, and be well now. In case you're wondering, I'm a licensed clinical social worker and the clinical director for Agape Behavioral Healthcare. Fun fact, I'm also a published author. I write poetry and self-help workbooks, which you can find on Amazon or my website. If you are ready to move out of your own way and step into your power, you have landed at the right place. Keep listening and let's do this. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mindful Living Podcast and happy February. Trust that each and every one of you listening is doing the best that you possibly can and feeling really good. Being that we are in February, this means we are approaching the 90-day mark next month, March, for year 2023. And history shows that most people come the 90-day mark of a new year quickly fall out of alignment with the new intentions that they set. They've already given up on the goals or resolutions. And this is something that's always been really interesting to me. And not just interesting because I find it interesting that people are so quick to give up, but I've always been interested in trying to understand what causes people to fall off track with the things that they set forth for themselves. What gets in the way of keeping people on the path that they most desire? And so as my working with people from all ages, ranging from 18 to 65, something that has been quite obvious to me is that a lot of times people set themselves up with these really big goals, right? It's like the person who hasn't stepped foot in the gym ever in their life or for several years and all of a sudden makes this big commitment that they're going to go to the gym every day and work out for 60 to 90 minutes. That sounds amazing in thought. But realistically, it's too big of a jump, right? You can't go from nothing to everything. And the same is true for people who, let's say, have never experienced what it looks like to have some type of wellness routine or some type of spiritual practice in their life, whether it be waking up and doing prayer, meditation, a gratitude list, using affirmations, utilizing breath work, whatever it might be. It's unrealistic to assume that you can go from never practicing such to all of a sudden being able to do it every single day for a certain amount of time. And so what I've gathered from my work with people and even in my own life is that we tend to set ourselves up for unrealistic expectations. We aim too high. That isn't to say aiming high is a problem. It's not a problem at all. In fact, I'm that person who believes there is no limit, and the only limit that we would ever face is the ceiling we set for ourselves. But here's the cool thing. We are in control of how high we want our ceiling to be. We can reach for higher, or we can choose to settle. Either way, it's okay, because I believe strongly we have to do what feels good to us, and we have to make sure that we are setting ourselves up to maintain good mental health, sobriety if you're working towards sobriety, whatever your individual story is. And so today I feel really led just to hold this space with you all, to take a moment to check in with yourselves and ask yourselves, what is it that you most want? What do you need to have in place to feel really supported? What changes have to happen, whether it be in your thinking, your state of feeling, or even your habits, behaviors, your patterns, that's going to allow you to stay on the path of what it is that you most dream of, what it is that you desire? What is it that you have to do in order to stay focused on your goals, and not just focused on them, but taking realistic, actionable steps every day that's going to support you in reaching whatever it is that you're trying to reach, while also maintaining grace for yourself to understand just because you might have set out a new goal, an intention, a resolution, maybe even a big dream or vision, we don't have to always be aligned with it. It's only human of us to have hard moments, to have days where we feel like we don't want to work towards anything, to have days where we simply just want to stay in bed, or we have moments where we feel like we're in a funk. All of this is a normal, natural part of the human experience. But something that I have found that's really necessary is being honest with yourself and holding yourselves accountable, holding ourselves accountable. It's so easy to have a vision for ourselves or set a goal and then get really amped up, feel super inspired, start taking inspired action, especially at the start of a new year. And then we end up burning ourselves out because it's not realistic. The thing that we're working towards isn't realistic. And so I say all that to say, I want to invite you guys to begin to think about what would your life look like if you began to make a commitment to what it means to live a mindful life, right? Mindful living, the name of my business for a reason. Mindfulness is the practice that changed my life. And when I learned what it meant to live mindfully, I became really, really, really interested in this and also super inspired to share it with every person I come in contact with. And the reason for that is when we make a commitment to live mindfully, we are sending a message to the universe that says, I am aware and awake enough to realize I only have today. I only have one moment at a time. And I choose to practice grace, not only for myself, but those around us. Mindful living teaches us that we have to act in a way where we're practicing non-judgment, right? Really showing up for each moment of our life, each moment of our day, as if it's a new moment, a fresh moment. So oftentimes, the heaviness of yesterday gets brought into today, and then the fear of tomorrow or the worry of tomorrow or the future takes away from today. And we all know we can't do anything about yesterday or not tomorrow. Certainly we can't do anything about 5 years ago or 5 months ago or 5 months from now or 5 years to come. Our power truly lies in the now. And the now, today, the present moment is the most generous moment we've been given. And so as it relates to checking in with yourself to make sure you're on track with whatever it is that you most desire, one way to really stay accomplished is to set forth what is it that you want to accomplish today. What can you do today to feel good? What can you do today to feel achieved, right? Maybe it's something as simple as getting your laundry done. Maybe it's reading 5 to 10 new pages in the book that you're working on or reading. Maybe it's finally following through with a gratitude list. Maybe it's completing a deadline at work. Perhaps it's returning a phone call to a loved one or finally scheduling a time to talk to somebody about a conversation that needs to be had. Whatever it might be, big, small, or in the middle. Every day, if you can get into the habit of asking yourself, what do I most want to accomplish today? And how do I want to feel today? And then training your brain to stay focused on one day at a time, as opposed to making promises to yourself that you're going to go to the gym every day, or you're going to do a gratitude list every day, or you're going to pray and meditate every day, or you're going to read 10 pages every day. All of that sounds amazing. And if you're able to do it, then that's awesome. Do it. But something that I've incorporated in my own life is this idea that I wake up and I set an intention for the day. I ask myself the questions I just shared with you. What do I most want to accomplish? And how do I want to feel? And then I wake up the next day and I repeat that. And I do my best to repeat what I know works for me every single day, because it's about the consistency. It's about developing the habit of showing up for yourself. But here's the thing. Earlier, I mentioned the word grace, and that's really, really important, because it is absolutely okay if, let's say, you woke up and your intention was to do Y and to feel X, and then you didn't do Y and you didn't feel X. That is okay. Having grace for yourself is really important, because we're always doing the best we can with what we have. And the quicker we can practice grace, then the quicker we can resume doing the things we want to do for ourselves. I have found in my own life, and also in my role as a therapist and working with clients for almost a decade now, when we are hard on ourselves, it puts us in this spiral of not only beating ourselves up, but next thing you know, we're in the loop of negative thinking, negative self-talk. Then we're feeding those old beliefs like I'm not good enough, I'm a failure, I'm inadequate, I can never keep my word. Like we get caught up in all that stuff, and all that stuff holds us back. So the quicker we can practice grace with ourselves, the quicker we're able to get back on the path we want to be on. So I encourage you and invite you all to really take a moment, schedule some time to check in with yourselves, reflect. How has this year been going so far? January flew by. Before you know it, February is going to come to an end, and then it'll be March, and then 90 days of 2023 will come to an end. And most people, by the end of 90 days, are completely back in old habits. And here's the thing. If we want to experience change in our life, if we want to have good outcomes in our life, then we have to check in with ourselves, hold ourselves accountable, have grace for ourselves, and be honest about how we're doing and how we're feeling, and never underestimating the power of asking for help, knowing it's okay to need help. It's okay to start over. So as I often say, whoever you are and wherever you are in your path, honor that space and just continue to move forward one day at a time, and sometimes one moment at a time, understanding one moment is all we have. You are allowed to fall down as long as you get back up. I often say I fall down quite frequently, but what I really look at in my own life is how quickly can I bounce back, right? My bounce back rate, I call it. And it's all a part of the process. So be nice to yourselves today, and always know that I love you guys, and I'm looking forward to the next episode. Thank you for joining me today. If you found today's episode to be insightful and inspiring, subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. And I kindly ask that you please leave me a review so together we can help the next person. To learn more about my products and services, check out www.themindfulliving.com and come connect with me on Instagram at mindfulliving.now, where I share daily inspiration, mindful skills, tips, and more. Until the next episode, stay mindful and always remember the power that lives inside of you.